News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Body found in the Clark Fork River still not identified. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Monday, April 4th, 2016. Skies partly cloudy. We have 35 degrees, and please be aware we do have a wind advisory starting at noon today, going until 9 o'clock tonight. Could have gusts up to maybe 40, 45 miles per hour throughout the afternoon and into the evening. Our top story first of all, our newscast this morning is sponsored by the Mustard Seed Asian Cafe at Southgate Mall. Our top story this morning, an unidentified body was recovered Saturday afternoon from the Clark Fork River, not far from the Reserve Street Bridge. Missoula County Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer Brenda Bassett said the body was spotted by some rafters just after noon.
Our dispatch center received a call at about 12:41 from some rafters who reportedly saw what they thought was a body floating in the water on the south side of the river near Reserve Street. Missoula County Sheriff's Office and the Missoula Police Department both responded, and it was found that it was in the county's jurisdiction.
Bassett outlined the procedure of identifying the body and determining the cause of death.
It could be later today, it could be in a few weeks, depending on the condition of the body, and if we're able to identify it, obviously, right away. It looks like the unidentified person may have been there for quite some time.
The Clark Fork River has seen several victims of drowning as well as homicide in the past few years. In June of 2014, one individual who drove his vehicle over a barrier at a fast food restaurant and went into the river was identified as 71-year-old Melvin Beadle. In July of 2014, the body of 60-year-old Jack Prey was found in the Clark Fork, and the cause of death for both men determined to have been drowning. Also in 2014, the body of Gilbert Jack Berry was found dumped in the Clark Fork after he was beaten, tortured, and shot by Kevin Leno and Kenneth Hickman. Leno is serving a 40-year term in the Montana State Prison. The Park County Sheriff's Office has recovered the body of a woman who fell off Pine Creek Falls south of Livingston. The Sheriff's Office said the body was found Sunday and the name of the woman has not yet been released. Friends called Saturday and said the woman was crossing a stream at the top of the falls when a branch she was holding snapped and the woman fell. Gallatin County Search and Rescue, Western Montana Search Dogs, Park County Search and Rescue, Livingston Fire and Rescue, Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks, and the U.S. Forest Service all joined in that search. Missoulian newspaper editor Matt Bunk was suspended last week after reportedly bringing a gun to work. But this is just the latest example of turmoil and turnover at the local newspaper. Not long ago, Missoulian editor Sherry Devlin stepped down after being demoted. She since filed a lawsuit in district court claiming discrimination and wrongful termination. Martin Kidston is a former reporter from the Missoulian, and he gave some insight to KGVO News.
Sherry left because she was demoted. I understand that the city editor, Justin Grigg, has also given his notice that he's leaving here in the next week or two, so that's going to be a big loss. He was a good city editor. Sounds like Daryl Ehrlich, the managing editor at the Billings Gazette, and Christy Angel, who's also at the Billings Gazette, will be kind of directing things.
Kidston thinks people are a little dissatisfied with the direction of the corporation and some of its internal policies.
They're overworked and underpaid and undermotivated because there was no reason to get motivated because there's no leadership. That's my surmise, that's my perspective. 4 newsroom employees have departed under the new editor. The turnover is tough. It's tough on the people who are there. They got great staff. They got good reporters. And it's unfortunate that they're not getting what they need to do the job that they want to do.
These are stories you probably won't read in the local newspaper. However, the turmoil and turnover happening at the Missoulian is now being covered in Kidston's blog called The Missoula Current. A federal program that aims to cut spending at patient costs while addressing fraud is causing problems for some Medicare suppliers in Montana. As a result, businesses are reducing their service areas, making it more difficult for clients to get service. The program was put in place by Montana earlier this year. It cuts Medicare payments for the equipment in Montana by as much as 42%. Suppliers say cutting transportation costs is one way to make up for those cutbacks. The Montana Energy Summit wrapped up in Billings Thursday. On Friday, Montana Junior Senator Steve Daines stated that despite Montana's rich energy resources, the biggest enemy we have is inside the Beltway in Washington.
Instead of allowing Montanans through innovation to sort this out and drive our future forward, what will happen here because of the EPA, we likely will see the closure of the coal strip units. That's $145 million of tax revenues we lose every year that go to schools and teachers. It's 7,000 lost jobs.
Dane said one speaker at the summit from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce looked forward to the year 2050, and the view was startling.
Coal consumption will be higher then than it is today. Oil consumption will be higher then than it is today. So will natural gas and so will renewables. And what Karen said when she gave this presentation is that the table is set for 2050. It's just the chairs are a lot bigger.
In a related story, a broad coalition of groups have filed a friend of the court brief supporting the federal government against a lawsuit challenging the Clean Power Plan by the EPA. Missoula Mayor John Engen, one of 54 city and county officials to sign that brief.
In a place that is known for clean water, outdoor recreation, the environment is critical to the continuing well-being of our citizens, to our economy, and frankly to life as we know it.
Dane said the Obama plan seems to be to keep Montana's natural resources, oil, coal, and natural gas, in the ground. The Missoula City Council has proposed a maximum 2-cent per gallon gas tax, the proceeds of which would be used only for road repair and maintenance. Before the council recommended the tax, though, a survey was commissioned to be done by the University of Montana's Bureau of Business and Economic Research. Director of Survey Research, John Baldridge, said the survey basically centered around 3 questions.
They asked, kind of in general, would you support or oppose an increase? And then what would you like the increase spent on? And then what kind of a tax or fee increase would you be most interested in?
Baldridge provided the top results from the survey of citizens in the city as well as urbanized area of Missoula County.
48% of them favored paying more taxes or fees if the fees were spent only on transportation system improvements. The most frequently cited area by 37.1% of residents was maintaining and repairing existing streets and roads. 40.3% of all the respondents said that they would favor a 2-cent a gallon increase on the taxes for fuel.
Only the Missoula County Commissioners have the authority to place such an issue on the ballot. Finally, western states in a belt from Montana to New Mexico are looking for ways to lower their highest in the nation suicide rates, although gun-specific initiatives are a touchy topic. Here in Montana, with the highest rate, Suicide Prevention Coordinator Carl Roston acknowledges some frustration as the toll rises, including the recent deaths of several teenagers who used guns from their own homes. Roston said, quote, "People are afraid we're trying to take away guns," which is not the case. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies today with scattered showers. Temperatures will be in the upper 50s. Windy conditions are expected this afternoon with wind gusts as high as 40 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.